Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi. Madam Speaker, thank you for coming in again this morning.
My pleasure. Good morning.
You just saw those reports right there. The White House is warning of an imminent invasion of Ukraine. The Ukrainians seem to think that that's all hype. Do you believe that Putin is poised to invade?
Well, I think we have to be prepared for it, and that is what the president is. Yes, I do believe that he is prepared for an invasion. I also understand why the president of Ukraine wants to keep people calm and that he wants his economy not to suffer. But on the other hand, if we were not threatening the sanctions and the rest, it would guarantee that Putin would invade. Let's hope that the diplomacy works. It's about diplomacy deterrence. Diplomacy deterrence, and the president has made it very clear. There's a big price to pay for Russia to go there. So if Russia doesn't invade, it's not that he never intended to. It's just that the sanctions
Are you
worked.
convinced that President Biden is doing everything he can to prevent an invasion? Is Congress doing everything you can to prevent an invasion?
Well, I'm very proud of the work the president has done. The unity of our allies and NATO to come to an agreement as to the severity of the sanctions in using them.
Let's talk about the situation here at home. Families are feeling a hit from the highest inflation in 40 years right now, costing the average American family about $275 a month. What can Congress do right now to bring those costs down?
Well, let me just talk about the inflation thing, because people are saying, well, what we're spending is causing inflation. The fact that people have jobs always contributes to an increase in inflation, and that's a good thing. But inflation is not a good, we have to contain it.
Wages are not keeping up with prices.
That's right. And let me just say about what Congress has been doing. When we did the Competes Act last week, what contributes to inflation? More people having jobs, scarcity of product, which makes prices go up, and the rest. So when we passed the Competes Act last Friday, this was a giant step forward. Now we have to go to conference with the Senate, and we will shortly, and we'll send it to the president's desk. But what that does is address the supply chain shortages that we have, and therefore will decrease inflation. Secondly, it's important to note this about the BBB. The BBB is a deficit reduction bill. It's a bill that, and some people say when you increase the national debt, you increase inflation. 17 Nobel laureates wrote that the way the BBB was written, with long-term investments and increasing the capacity of people to participate in our success, is non-inflationary. In addition to that, the Joint Tax Committee, which is the imprimatur on all these issues, the Joint Tax Committee says that BBB will reduce the national debt by $100 billion in the first 10 years and $1 trillion in the second 10 years. So what we are doing is, what are the three factors? More people going to work, that's a good thing. More product to lower the cost, the supply side of the supply, and more supply, lower cost, and then third, in terms of not increasing the national debt.
But as you know, Senator Manchin, who's the senator that matters right now because he's against it, disagrees. He says it's going to hurt inflation. Let's take a look.
This is not a time to be throwing more fuel on the fire. We have inflation, and we have basically an economy that's on fire. You don't throw more fuel on the fire that's already on fire, causing the problems that we have. So we've got to get our house in order.
Without his vote, this isn't going anywhere.
Well, the fact is that clearly he has, look, Joe Manchin, as you said, is a senator who counts. Every senator counts. And we have legislation that is so transformative for our country. When you see what President Biden has done in this year, whether it's the rescue package that has put money in people's pockets, taken people off of poverty, vaccines in their arms and the rest, you know that.
Yes, but people aren't feeling it right now. They're upset.
No, I understand that. But there has to be a cumulative effect. And part of the consequences of all of that investment in the infrastructure bill and the rest is that more people have jobs, and therefore inflation goes up. When I first went to Congress, you were there working for Dick Gephardt.
And Dick Gephardt,
yeah,
yes.
Go way back. I went to my first meeting where the head of the Fed came in to talk about inflation and unemployment. That was a requirement that the chairman report to Congress on that. And the first thing Chairman Greenspan said was, unemployment is dangerously low. Well, if you're just measuring it by inflation. But the fact is that the rise in employment and President Biden, nearly 7 million jobs in his year in office. So, yes, we have inflation. It's very important for us to address it. We must bring it down. But it's not right, with all the respect in the world for my friend Joe Manchin, it's not right to say that what we are doing is contributing to inflation, because it is exactly the opposite.
The other thing that's weighing on
17 Nobel laureates, the Joint Tax Committee.
The other thing that's weighing on people right now is rising crime. And there appear to be some divisions among Democrats about how to handle it. Your colleague, Karen Bass, running for mayor of Los Angeles, is trying to increase the police force in L.A. Cori Bush, Congresswoman from Missouri, is saying it's time to defund the police. She's sticking by that. You're the speaker. How do you think Democrats should address rising crime?
Well, with all the respect in the world for Cori Bush, that is not the position of the Democratic Party. Community safety, to protect and defend in every way, is our oath of office. And I have sympathy. We're all concerned about mistreatment of people, and that's why Karen Bass had the Justice in Policing Act, and we would hope to get some of that done, whether it's no-knock or chokehold or some of those issues, even if we can't get it all done. But make no mistake, community safety is our responsibility. And I quote one of my colleagues from New York, Richie Torres, a brand new member of Congress, way on the left, saying that defund the police is dead. That causes a concern with a few in our caucus. But public safety is our responsibility, and I support what Karen Bass is doing, and Mayor Adams of New York.
Inflation, the rising crime are both weighing down on President Biden's approval ratings right now. They're weighing down on Democrats as you head into the midterms. You say you're going to run again this year, but 29 of your fellow Democrats are not running for re-election. How worried are you about the midterms right now?
I don't agonize, I organize. And we are fully intend to win this election. Nothing less is at stake.
That would be bucking history.
Well, forget history. We're talking about future. You know, and when people say, well, the history says that presidents lose seats in the off year, presidents gain seat on the on seat. We didn't gain seats when President Biden won. We worked together to win the Senate, win the House, and win the White House. It was cumulative, but it wasn't an increase. And one of the reasons that in part the president's party loses seats in the off year is because they gain so many on the on year. We won 40 seats into 18, 31 in Trump districts. In this year with Trump on the ballot, we lost a third of those Trump seats. However, the people who survived in those Trump seats with Trump on the ballot are in very good shape. We take nothing for granted. We intend, by redistricting, which did not do us harm, as people predicted, history and all that, by recruitment, great people coming forward and believing that we can win, with raising of money and attracting the support and the raising interest in the volunteers. We have every intention, every single day, to do everything in our power. We have decided to win, and that's what we will do.
So if you maintain control, you're going to run for Speaker again?
That's not a question. My purpose right now is just to win that election. Is to win that election. Nothing less is at stake than our democracy. But very important in all that is what it means personally to the American people, to their kitchen table issues, whether they're going to be able to pay for food, for medicine, for rent, children's education, and the rest. So our focus that unifies our Democrats, you talked about what may have divided a few of them, what unifies us is the empathy that we have for America's working families and the priority of meeting their needs. Lower cost, bigger paychecks, lower taxes, all paid for by making everyone pay their fair share, with a great president. I think his message, see, when we won in 06 and 08, we were left to our own devices, just us kids. We didn't have a Democrat. in the White House. Now we do, so we're even stronger in the ability to win. And who is more empathetic than Joe Biden, who has a bigger vision, more knowledge, more strategic thinking about all this, more authenticity in associating with America's working families.
Madam Speaker, thanks for your time this morning.
Yes, onward to a great Democratic victory. Thank you.